What is the best Harry Potter chapter? Could it be the very first one, The Boy Who Lived, where little baby Harry gets dropped off at the Dursleys? Could it be the Midnight Duel, where we get a fun encounter with a three-headed dog? Or maybe it's the first time we spend a summer at the Burrow with the Weasleys. Welcome to the first installment of Ranking Every Harry Potter Chapter, Sorcerer Stone Edition. Oh yeah. Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is William Jose. This is the Harry Potter Inquisitive channel, and today I will be assigning a numerical rank to every chapter in Sorcerer's Stone. At the end of this video, we will crown 3 perfect chapters. That's right, I've already done my notes. 3 of these are going to get a perfect 10 out of 10. And that is how we're going to be ranking these chapters, 1 through 10. At the end of this series, we are going to put all of the chapters that get a perfect score into a head-to-head bracket for a grand finale. And it'll be in that tournament where we will crown the best Harry Potter chapter. But I can't do it alone. This is where you come in. At the end of this video, I will be awarding 3 honorable mentions in addition to the 3 perfect 10s that make it to the final. And out of these honorable mentions, you, the viewer, gets to decide which one makes it to the final. You don't just have to leave an angry comment telling me how wrong I am that I gave your favorite chapter a low score. Unless, of course, it doesn't even make it to the honorable mentions, in which case, look, you're probably just wrong. I don't know what else to tell you, all right? I'm not... Well, I know a thing or two about these books. I've read them before. So make sure to stick to the end for that. In addition to the chapter scores, we will also be assigning each book an official book score. We're going to take the average chapter score for each book and use that as its correspondent book scores. So we will not just be crowning a best chapter, we will also, by happenstance, be crowning a best book. All of this, of course, is just my opinion, but what other opinion matters, huh? Chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived. I am giving this a perfect 10. That's right, this is our first 10 of the video. I don't think you can tweak anything about this chapter without changing the entire timeline of Harry Potter. Tell me I'm wrong. There is literally nothing that you can change about this chapter without changing the whole arc of the story. So I think it carries hard, and on reread, it is one of the most enjoyable. An easy 10, I think it's a contender for best chapter. I know the stakes are really low at this point, but it is a perfect prologue to the entire series. Chapter 2, The Vanishing Glass. You like going to the zoo? You like talking to snakes? Well, I don't, so this gets a 6. This chapter is not that interesting. It's really kind of boring. And I know what you're gonna say. Oh, William, it's necessary for the, we gotta meet the Dursleys, yada 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 yada. We gotta see how horrible Harry's treated. I know, but I think there's a reason we don't spend that much time in this book with the Dursleys, and we cut to the chase to getting to Hogwarts, because that's where all the fun stuff happens. Chapter 3, The Letters from No One. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit of magic, and for this reason, yeah, this chapter is going to get a 7. Passable, passing grade. We're still waiting for stuff to happen. So, this of course is the chapter where all of the letters start showing up at the Dursley's house. Really iconic in the movie, might be better in the movie actually. But there's just more to say about this book other than this chapter. Chapter 4, The Keeper of the Keys. Gosh darn it, it's Hagrid. Now we're talking. We got Mr. Keeper of the Keys himself, Rubeus Hagrid. This chapter gets an 8. It's a step up from the previous chapters. We finally pop the pimple, burst the bubble, release the cat out of the bag on this whole magic thing. Harry, you're a wizard, and you're going to Hogwarts. Chapter 5, Diagon Alley. Or should I say, diagonally. This chapter is an easy 9, and I almost could have given it a 10, but it is not the most, how would you say, plot important. It is very, very fun and extremely important for world building, and so I'm giving it a great score. It's just not making it into a 10 for me. Will this chapter become one of the honorable mentions? If you think it should, cast your vote now. Chapter 6. The Journey from Platform 9 3/4. Maybe one of the most iconic chapter titles and iconic platform names. I love the phasing of the wall. I love the introduction to the Dursleys, and I love a chill but whimsical train ride across the English and Scottish landscape. I'm giving this chapter a 9. Another chapter that is in contention for a fan favorite rescue. Chapter 7, The Sorting Hat. I'm giving this chapter an 8. I am not as enthused about this chapter as I am about the previous 2, but I gotta say, seeing Hogwarts for the first time, getting sorted into Gryffindor with our friends, and ending what has been a complete 180 with life with the Dursleys, with Harry sleeping in his 4-poster bed in Gryffindor Tower, has got to be one of the most feel-good moments of this series. So, it receives the positive score of an 8. Chapter 8, The Potions Master. You know, everybody loves Snape, right? Right? It's a trick question. No, you don't. You don't. Just trust me, you shouldn't. I'm giving this chapter a 6. Meh. Yeah, we meet Snape. We learn that he hates Harry for some reason. Or, you know, we get the vibe that he hates Harry. It's not confirmed yet, but it's pretty clear he's got something going on. I know some of you are gonna say, okay, but it's more important because, you know, it establishes, you know, a grounding moment for this character. Nothing much happens in this chapter. Chapter 9, The Midnight Duel. All right, are you ready for some friction with our second antagonist, or third, I guess, if you count Dudley? Man, Harry's got a lot of enemies, doesn't he? Well, it's the second boy we don't like. It's Malfoy. But this chapter, for those of you who don't remember, and I'm sure many of you do, it's a very iconic chapter, introduces Harry to the Gryffindor Quidditch team. So he flies for the first time, and instead of getting in trouble, he gets taken to Oliver Wood by McGonagall and his maid Seeker. This, of course, stirs up the pot even further between him and Malfoy, and Malfoy goats him into leaving his dormitory at night. And I think the purpose of this chapter is really to have our first adventure sneaking out into the castle when we're not supposed to, with our favorite trio, Ron, Hermione, and Harry. Oh, and Neville. Now, this chapter is very important because it takes us down the first leg of what is the main plot for this book, and that is discovering what the Sorcerer's Stone is, who is guarding it, who's after it, because we run into Fluffy, the 3-headed dog, in this chapter. So it's really important. It's character developing. It's got all of these things in it. Surely it's a 10, right? No, I'm giving this an 8. Now, some of you might be mad at this ranking. I gotta be honest, on reread, this chapter, as important as it is a little poorly put together. There's just kind of a lot going on. I get that they needed to get the group out at night, but this whole midnight duel thing ends up not meaning anything, and I feel like they could have just gotten them out some other way. So it just felt a bit rushed how they all kind of end up stuck outside in the middle of the night. And of course the fat lady happens to not be there, but then she's conveniently back when they are back. Yeah. It's a great chapter. It's really important. Look, I'm giving it an 8, but again, before you rush to the comment section, just wait till the end of the video. hint, hint, nudge, nudge. This might be one of the chapters in the honorable mentions pool. So just wait until the end, all right? Cauldron, 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 boiling, fire boiling, boiling. Halloween. All right, Halloween. This chapter has nothing to do with Halloween. It's just a way of letting us know we're at this part in the semester. I am giving this chapter a 9. We are piggybacking off of chapter 8, and we are learning some Quidditch skills. A lot of things happen in this brief chapter. Harry receives the Nimbus 2000 from McGonagall during lunch. That's exciting. Very iconic broom there. He has a quick lesson of Quidditch, going over the rules with Mr. Oliver Wood. But my favorite moment is what happens at the end. This is the chapter where the 12-foot mountain troll somehow makes its way into Hogwarts grounds. At this point, the relationship between Ron, Harry, and Hermione is make or break. Hermione at this moment is crying because of what Ron had said to her, and it's looking like maybe Hermione isn't going to be friends with them, but of course, Ron, I believe it was Ron's idea actually in the chapter to go and save Hermione, and Hermione returning the olive branch at the end lies. It's such a great moment to see Hermione break the rules. I wanted to end this segment over this chapter with a quote from the book. There are some things you can't share without ending up liking each other, and knocking out a 12-foot mountain troll is one of them. Chapter 11, Quidditch. Lee Jordan. This is a really enjoyable chapter, and it's not just comedically enjoyable. It's exciting to see them all play Quidditch. It's exciting to see how this sport works for the first time, and on top of that, it sets up the most important moment with Snape being the bad guy, or at least the perceived bad guy for this book. But of course, we know it's all a ruse, but for the tension building surrounding Snape, it's a very important chapter. And they even find time at the end of this chapter to visit Hagrid and discuss the three-headed dog. It's at that point they learn his name is Fluffy. So overall, just a great chapter, and for that reason, I am giving it a 9. Chapter 12, The Mirror of Erised. This is my favorite chapter in the whole book. I'm giving this a 10. This chapter feels like a little lullaby after the goofiness of Lee Jordan and Quidditch, and even the three-headed dog is a little silly. All of a sudden, this chapter feels mature, elegant, graceful. It's one of the chapters that introduces this principle of love into the story. Love is really Harry's superpower in this story. He's courageous, he's bold, he can be hot-headed and brave, but the thing that ultimately helps him defeat Voldemort is love. And for us to see him looking into the mirror and to discover what it means, that it shows you what you desire most, and all Harry is seeing is his family, it just makes you want to hug the kid. Certainly making it into the grand head-to-head chapter finale for me, so I'm giving it a 10. Chapter 13, Nicholas Flamel. This chapter is not that interesting. I'm giving this chapter a 7 because its sole purpose is to communicate to us who Nicholas Flamel is, his involvement with the Sorcerer's Stone, and it was just a crucial bit of information that we needed to keep the plot moving forward. But overall, really not that noteworthy. As you can see as we do this, some of these chapters you remember instantly, right? And others you just go, what happened there? Speaking of random chapters, we have chapter 14. It's Norbert the Norwegian Ridgeback. I'm giving this chapter a 5. This chapter is one of those plots that starts and ends in the chapter. It is the most side questy feeling part of the whole book, and it's not unenjoyable. The fact that it's enjoyable at all is the only thing keeping it above a 3 or a 4, because otherwise it really plays no role in the story. It's just a bit of fun at Hogwarts. For those of you who don't remember, this chapter is what gets them in trouble with Filch. We have a bit of drama because they forget the invisibility cloak at the top of the tower. It's really just setting up the following chapter. Chapter 15, The Forbidden Forest. This chapter is a bit longer, and it's for good reason, because we're getting to know one of the most important geographical locations in Harry Potter. It's a thoroughly enjoyable chapter, building intrigue and mystique surrounding the possibilities of the terrors that lie within. It's the most extreme punishment for detention we've ever seen. And it also helps Hagrid kind of rough out his character. He's been a very big, lovable giant, but now we're seeing that toughness. We feel so safe with him, and we're admiring his bravery as he boldly strolls into this horrifying place as if it's just another day in the office. I love that he's on a first name basis with Firenze. It just really feels like Hagrid knows what's up. Now, the more important part about this chapter is our encounter with Voldemort at the end, or who we think to be Voldemort. And after all of the momentum building towards Snape and the tension with Quirrell and the stone and what it's going to happen, we can begin to forget that the main villain hasn't even been mentioned. So it raises the stakes. This is a chapter that raises the stakes. For that reason, I am giving it an 8. Only reason this is an 8 for me is on reread, the enjoyability factor isn't as high as some of these other ones that I've given a 9, as Quidditch or Diagon Alley. I just think there's other chapters that are more enjoyable than this one. This is definitely a contender for one of the 3 honorable mentions I'm going to include in this video. Chapter 16, Through the Trap Door. I love the chess game with Ron. I love the riddle solving with Hermione actually quite a bit, and the different colored flames. I wish they had left that in the movie. I don't, however, like the scene where Harry's trying to catch the key. Other than that, it's a pretty perfect chapter, but a significant part of the chapter is that moment with Harry, as well as just getting to the trapdoor, so I'm going to give it an 8. I also wanted to mention one of my favorite lines from the book, which is when they're caught in the devil's snare, and Hermione knows that she needs fire to help them escape, but she doesn't think to use her wand. She's like looking for wood. And Ron says something along the lines of, "Are you kidding me? Are you a witch or not?" And with that, we make it to the final chapter of this book. Chapter 17, The Man with Two Faces, A10. We get to see Quirrell, and the most gripping part to me is actually getting to see Voldemort. Getting to speak to him. I love the bit of cleverness JK does with the mirror, and how we get the stone into our pocket is really fun. The stakes are really high. It is a wonderful little twist to see Quirrell there instead of Snape, and it doesn't drag. We get enough out of Voldemort, enough out of Quirrell. Harry has a heroic moment, and before we know it, we are back in the hospital wing with a smiling Dumbledore telling us everything's gonna be okay. It, alongside with the first chapter, serves as an excellent bookend. The beginning and end to this book is really, really satisfying. It feels like a perfect bow, and if any one of these Harry Potter books could be considered to be perfect in the sense that it's got a resounding, satisfying ending, Sorcerer's Stone would be that book. I think it's for that reason it made a really easy movie adaptation. I just think it's one of those where no stone is left unturned. One of the feelings I'm left with at the end of this book, and the last chapter is immensely responsible for this, is this feeling of, oh wow, it's over already? Could it be that a year ago I was with the Dursleys? I really feel for Harry, and I love, love, love this nostalgia. With that, we can calculate our official book score. Now, I have added up every total and divided it by the number of chapters to get us an average chapter score of 8.1, and that is our official book score for Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone. I am giving it an 8.1. At the end of these rankings, we are left with 3 chapters making it into the final bracket. Those are Chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived, Chapter 12, The Mirror of Erised, and Chapter 17, The Man with Two Faces. But wait, we need to select 3 honorable mentions. Get your pitchforks, or put them away, because the 3 chapters nominated are Chapter 5, Diagon Alley, Chapter 9, The Midnight Duel, and lastly, Chapter 16, Through the Trapdoor. In the comments, I have left a pinned poll. Scroll down to look at the options and reply with the name of the chapter you want to rescue. The chapter with the most votes by next episode will officially enter the grand finale alongside our 10s. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Tune in next week for ranking every Harry Potter chapter, Chamber of Secrets edition. Let me know what your favorite chapters are going into book 2 and your prediction of the official book score for Chamber of Secrets. Stupendo!